It's a bit of a flat market. Thanks for tuning in. This is NDTV Profit. I'm Harsh Saita, and over the next half an hour, we'll take you through Market IQ. We'll focus in on a couple of companies, but let's start off with where markets are currently at. You're seeing the Nifty 50 largely flat, trading with a slight positive bias, maybe 0.1% or thereabouts higher as we speak. There you go. And, a couple of companies in focus on the back of numbers. You have something like an Apollo Hospitals on the Nifty 50, as well as a Hero Moto, both moving in different directions on the back of numbers. Apollo Hospitals, of course, a good set. Hero Moto, slightly weak on margins, and commentary as well coming in, which was slightly on the weaker front. In terms of sectors which are buzzing, there's the IT sector, which is leading the pack, 1.4% higher. But outside of that, you're seeing pretty much negative across the board. The Nifty consumption, of course, doing well, but outside of that, all the meaningful ones, the Nifty metal, which had declined nearly 2%, has pulled back a little bit, so some positivity there. But outside of that, you're seeing a sea of red just in terms of sectoral indices. The broader markets, let's pull those up. The Nifty small cap down around 0.5% or thereabouts. The Nifty mid cap also down by a similar number, around 0.6% lower. So that's where we're at, where the broader markets are concerned. Let's pull up the advanced decline. And of course, it's a day for the bears. The breadth of the market firmly in favor of the declines. Let's also quickly look at some stocks in focus, especially on the Nifty 50. Let's pull up the contributors. And within the Nifty contributors, you'll see IT, of course, dominating the pack, but outside of that, maybe a little bit of HDFC Bank and ITC also contributing. ICICI Bank, possibly the top negative contributor on the Nifty 50 today. Coal India, no surprises there after everything that's happening with the metals pack. So you're seeing a bit of negative when it comes to the metal stocks, and Coal India seeing that, Tata Steel seeing that reaction as well. So it's private banks and metals likely pulling the index down. But let's switch over. Here a slice of a conversation which Samina has had, and let's go straight to that with Hem Securities' Astha Jain about the recently listed companies and IPOs which are lined up for next week. Will of course help from a perspective of whether to subscribe or whether to buy straight off the market.
Hello and welcome. You're watching a special show where we're going to be discussing IPOs. Remember, the primary markets are abuzz with a lot more activity in action over the last couple of weeks as compared to secondary markets. And as always, a veteran in the space is Astha Jain. She's been tracking and following IPOs for many, many years. She joins us to talk to us about what she likes, what she doesn't, and of course, a quick view on the ones that have already listed. Astha Jain, Senior Research Analyst at Hem Securities, joins in. Hi, Astha. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for taking the time out to talk to us. I'm going to start with an IPO that closes today. Saraswati Saree Depot opened, of course, a few days ago. They closed today. The price band is 152 to 160 rupees a piece, and the company is looking to raise about 160 crores from what I understand. I've read a couple of notes where they've talked about how they are well priced as compared to their industry peers, and more importantly, they're venturing into the menswear segment as well. What do you make of Saraswati Saree Depot? It's one of its kinds in the listed space.
Hi, good afternoon. Yes, talking about this counter, first of all, we have given a subscribe rating to this IPO, subscribe from the longer term perspective, but due to the smaller size of the issue, listing gains can also be expected because in such small issues, public participate a lot. And we have seen that these kind of issues fetch strong returns on the listing day also. Now, talking about this counter, it is a B2B saree player. So basically, they don't cater to directly customers. They are into the wholesale, basically, saree business. And their customers are the other retailers of saree and not the direct retail public. So they are a B2B player. Now talking about this counter, the counter is coming at a P multiple of 85 times. So seems to be a little bit on the higher side. But going forward, the growth prospect in this company is very strong. First of all, as you have rightly said, they are entering into the ethnic wear men's segment. So definitely this will help the company in showing strong performance because this segment has a strong market share of more than 30% in total apparel market. If we talk about total apparel markets in India, so ethnic wear men's segment has a strong share, and the company is entering into that segment. So that will be really helping the company in showing a strong financial performance going ahead. Secondly, they are planning to increase their online sales also, which is presently contributing 4 to 5% of the total sales. So I think that will also help the company going ahead in posting strong financial performance. So on the basis of brighter future prospects, we are recommending this IPO to subscribe from the longer term perspective. However, on the listing day also, we can expect returns due to the smaller size of the issue.
You know, this is very interesting because they're also a relatively profitable company from what I understand, and because they are one of its kinds, it may draw a lot of interest. But assuming investors who want to, get into Saraswati Saree Depot from the medium term time horizon, what do you recommend they should do? If they don't manage to get it at the IPO, would you recommend getting in at listing, or if there's a big gap up, it's best avoided?
So we are expecting a big gap up on the day of listing. And therefore, our stance is that if it opens more than 20-30% premium, which we are expecting it to list at, then definitely one should not jump into the selling at that point of time. They should wait for the stock prices to get settled and then make an entry into the counter. So yes, we are expecting this counter to post a listing gain of more than 20-30%, but our advice is to not to enter at those high premium on the day of listing.
And what happens to individuals who are looking at listing gains? If you get a 20 to 30% uptake on listing day, do you recommend they should take profits off the table? What is the level that you think could be a good exit point for somebody who's a short-term trader?
So for short-term traders, as we are expecting listing gains to be there, so we recommend them to book partial profit if the listing gains will be more than 20-30%. So definitely that will make the case of a partial profit booking. So in case if this counter will list at more than 30% premium, then definitely who has entered for the short-term perspective, they can book partial profit.
So you could look at booking partial profits. That's the word coming in from Asta, and this is on Saraswati Saree Depot. Along with this one, this is the only IPO that is available this week, and it closes today, just to remind you. And of course, it's a 160 crore IPO, which is not very large, but Asta has a recommended subscribe to this. And of course, she believes there could be significant listing gains. Moving on from there is Interarch Building Products. This IPO opens on the 19th of August, which is next week. Asta, this is again a very old, it's a 40-year-old company, and it's a leading provider of Tankini pre-engineered steel construction solutions in India. Again, they're looking to raise significant, as compared to Saraswati Saree Depot, about 600 odd crores through this IPO. What is your reading of this one?
So first of all, they are into the pre-engineered building solution provider. Basically, they are, and they provide pre-engineered, especially steel building to the client. So I mean, they are looking very strong to us because the kind of business they are into, they are the first giver in the capital goods space. So we like the business model, we like the promoter base of the company, and the company is very old because the type of industry they are catering to, especially to the warehouses, to FMCGs, as they are working into the industrial space as well as infrastructure space, and they are working for the buildings also, residential, etc., and non-commercial, etc. So I think the business model is very attractive. But what is the major attraction point of this IPO is its pricing. Although 900 at the upper end of the price range seems to be a little higher if we just talk about the ticket size, but at the price to earning multiple of around 17, which they are coming on, I think this issue is reasonably priced. This price to earning multiple of 17 is coming at FY24 profit before fresh issue if we take into account. And after fresh issue also, if I take the price to earning multiple, then it is coming at around 21. So I mean, the price to earning multiple is looking reasonable to us, very reasonable in comparison to its listed peers like Pennar Industries and Everest Industries. So we are recommending subscribe to this IPO for the listing gain purpose also, as well as for long-term purpose also, because their financial performance is very strong, have shown strong CAGR growth across the important line of items in the P&L, which is operating profit, net profit, as well as revenue. So they have posted very strong numbers. They are coming at a very reasonable valuation. Their order book is very strong, which is around 1,000 crore as on April 24. So looking after all these parameters, we are recommending subscribe to this IPO from the listing gain as well as long-term perspective.
Right. Any downside risk on this one that you want to flag off for our viewers, Asta?
So the only downside risk which I'm looking for this IPO is the market mood and condition. Otherwise, talking about the company's fundamental per se, there doesn't seems to be a major risk to their business model because they are quite an old company. And now the most important point about this company is that the kind of industry tailwind, they are having. Capital good industry is really working very strongly, especially in last few years. We have seen that the demand is coming not from one single segment, but it is coming from various segments for the capital good expansion, and the government is also after that. So in fact, the industry parameters are also very strong for this company. So it is a strong subscribe from our side, both from the listing gain as well as long-term perspective.
Right. Asta, that of course is a little more forward-looking. Let's talk about the blockbuster listings this week. And of course, last week belonged to Ola Electric. This week was all about Unicommerce and Brainbees. Let's start with Unicommerce. They had a fantastic show when they listed yesterday. What is your view on the stock post the listing gains?
So they have shown very strong listing gain. I think at 108 at the higher end of the price when the issue came. And right now it is quoting 200 rupees. So what again the investors have got in this IPO, but the problem was that it was a small sized IPO. So they were very lucky one who got the allotment in this IPO. And my stance on that IPO was also subscribed from the listing gain purpose as well as long term. Now, because it came at a very reasonable valuation, and we have a very strong financial performance. As we all know, this company is a provider in the SaaS provider, basically software as a service provider, basically to the e-commerce companies. And the financial performance is very strong. The one important point about this company which we liked was that they have got a high operating leverage. So whatever revenue they are adding, or they will keep on adding in their top line, I think the same will get reflecting in the bottom line also going ahead, because the fixed cost, there are a lot of fixed cost. And talking about the operating leverage, the company enjoys high operating leverage. So we were positive about this company, and this company has shown strong financial performance also. But now at the price of 200, I think investors should book partial profit in this IPO also if someone got in the allotment. No need to enter in this IPO at this juncture. Let it fall further and then enter or make a new entry in this IPO. But now it is a listed one, so no more IPO, but now in this stock. And our recommendation is book partial profit also at 200 price in Unicommerce stock.
Right. What did you make of Brainbees, Asta, in terms of its IPO? I know you were constructive on this one. Still looking good post its listing, and more importantly, yesterday you also had a pretty significant mutual fund buy under 1% stake at its high, at its closing high yesterday. So clearly, fund house is still constructive post those listing gains.
Yes, because whatever investment the company needed to make, they have already made. So I think now going from here, Brainbee solution, we believe that it will show profit in coming 1 or 2 years, especially 2 years down the line. Now, talking about this company also, as we know, it is a multi-channel retailing platform for mother, babies, and kids with a very, very strong brand name. And one most important point about this company, which we really liked, is that their opportunity is very high because the kind of business they are into, the size of industry is very big. It is $48 to $50 billion industry. So they have an ample growth opportunity to cater on in the future also. Whatever investments they needed to make, they have already made. So we find this company is an attractive opportunity from the long-term perspective. And we have recommended this IPO also, although it has shown very strong listing gains. But now we believe at present moment of time, it becomes a little bit expensive at the valuation because it is quoting 600 right now. So at this valuation, due to some sort of valuation concerns, we just recommend to book partial profit in this stock also. because it has already shown a strong listing gain.
Book partial profits because of strong listing gains. That's the word coming in. Very lastly, Astha, it wouldn't be fair to our viewers if I don't ask you about Ola Electric. 70% gains since listing, but the reason I ask you today is because they report their very first earnings to investors in a public forum, since they're in the public domain. What are your thoughts on Ola Electric? Have you changed your mind? Are you convinced? Are you constructive? Anything for a long-term buyer would be great. And also, more importantly, the 30-day period for institutions to exit also will wrap up in the next 3 weeks. What happens to Ola then?
So Ola Electric, we were constructed from the day the IPO announcement was made. In fact, I've recommended it on your channel also for the listing gain as well as long-term purpose. Now we are believing that this company will be posting good numbers, although they are into the losses. So, I mean, the company will take 1 or 2 more years to show the profit. But from the top line perspective, we expect this company to show growth, because what we have seen is that their products really got appeal in the market, and we can see the surge in the volumes also because it is a cheaper product, as well as now the cost of sell, which is an important cost element for this company, has also reduced. So I think the prices of sell has reduced, so that will also help the company in posting strong margins. So we are expecting this company to post good numbers, maybe not profit, but again, the sales volume will definitely rise. They will definitely going to enjoy the more market share. This is what we believe. Going ahead also, we think that the company will be posting strong numbers because they have spent a lot of money in the marketing activities also. The sales volume are surging. And now, as we know from the IPO proceeds, they will be deploying the funds toward growth activities going ahead. So that all will be helping the company in showing stronger numbers. And that's why we believe the financial results will be good. Maybe not positive from the bottom line perspective, but definitely growth in the top line we can see.